Most women are creating content, but not including it in their sales mechanism to actually make more sales in the business, right? What does this look like? You're posting content, you're doing the thing, you're taking the courses, you've done it, but you know you want to convert more from your content, which is what you should do. And I'm going to tell you exactly how we actually use content as a sales mechanism and what to include in your content very strategically so you can make more sales and more money, because I want you and more women to have more wealth. Now, everything changed for me about 6 months ago inside of my business. I used to post content all the time on social media, just being like, what's working? How do I do what's working? This person's saying this person's saying this. I get it. I was that person taking that feedback. This mentor says do it this way. This mentor says do it this way. And honestly, when I understood why and how I was doing my content, everything about what I did was different. And this is where we don't need big followings. You don't need ads. You don't need to go viral. You need to know what to post and when to post and how to do it, which is what I'm going to show you how to do. Your content is not a marketing machine, it's a sales mechanism. Its job is to actually take people who don't know you and actually move them through your sales funnel. And what you don't realize is that if you're taking advice from a lot of different people, you don't know how they're running their content. And this is what I actually say to my clients all of the time. I say, when you see people online, don't just follow what you see they're doing. Go, oh, I like their content, I'm going to do their content. I tell my clients all the time inside of Wealthy Woman, you have to understand their content strategy and their marketing and sales strategy and be able to look through that lens. And that's why I want you to understand content as a sales strategy so that you can actually be in charge of the way that you're running it. So what does this look like? Everybody runs content differently. And that's what I want you to know. There's not a right way of how to do it. Again, it's what you're doing for you. So for example, if you are primarily selling people off of free events, okay, our job with your content is to get them to those free events. If you're selling people in your DMs, our job is to get them in your DMs. If you're selling people off of your long form content, YouTube, podcasts, emails, our job is to get them there. Now, it doesn't mean that people can buy from different places. They absolutely can. But your job of your content is actually personalized to your strategy. And this is something that you really have to understand, is what is really your sales strategy and how are people coming into your world and where are they converting? And now I just want to say this because I see it happen all the time, and it's happened to many of my clients until they come to me and I don't let them, is you got to hone in your sales strategy. Now, if you want to have two and you dial in two, great. But if you try out too many different strategies and too many different leverage points, you have no data to make decisions. And your business, the way you scale up, the way you make a lot of money in this world of business, is you need data. And we can't have data if we're trying a bunch of different things. And that's why one of the biggest things that changed my life last year was really going all in on my sales strategy, was not trying to do a bunch of strategies, was not trying to learn a bunch of things, was all in on mine. And that's exactly what I help my clients design, is their sales strategy. So now let's break it down with content. So I want you to think about content like someone coming into a home. And there's many rooms, let's say, inside of this home. There's 7 different rooms inside of this home. When I was touring actually my house, I was like, wow, there's so many rooms. And I remember going, same thing. What room do I go in first? What room do I look at? And I had to actually ask myself, like, which room do I want to look at? Do I want to go in the kitchen? Oh, that backyard has a lot of big grassy area. Maybe I should go look at the master and the bath, because I was really into my bath. And so there were so many options. That is a bad content strategy. If you have so many options of where I can go and what I can do and what I can look at, I'm confused. No one is going anywhere if they're confused. What you want, which is what I did when I came and looked at my house, I had this wonderful realtor. And this realtor walked me through which room we went to first. Did she take in consideration what I wanted? Yes. But was she driving the walkthrough? Yes. And I want to say, before I walked into this house, I said, there is no way I want this house. There's no way I want to be living in this house. It was actually my first thought. I was just like, I'm just going to look, right? How many of we have done that? I'm just going to look. I'm going to go in the store. I'm going to go to the masterclass. And then you buy it and you're like, what happened? They did a good job. And it was a good offer and they did a good job. Your content, you are the realtor to your content. Your job is to literally be a realtor through your content and making sure that every piece of content, you are driving your ideal audience where you want them going, which is why first in your sales process, you need to know, where do you want people going? Okay. So do you want people going to your YouTube? Do you want people going to your workshop? Do you want people just going directly to a call with you? You need to understand it. And something that I think is really important is also pick the thing that makes sense for you and your business and where you are, right? If you don't convert super strong just off a sales page, maybe don't just put up a sales page, right? If you have super high conversions off of workshops and you want to slowly tee them out, great. Maybe let's leverage them once a quarter and also use another strategy to get people in your world and convert people. But again, I would pick personally 1 to 2 sales strategies that are like, this is where I want people converting. Now, let's talk about the content. If I want to be converting, let's say off of a workshop, or I want to be converting in my email list, or I want to be converting in my DMs, the job of your content is not to sell them on your offer. It's not to make them love you and think you're such a vibe. Your job of your content is one and only thing, to move them to that next step. That is the job of content, to move them to the next step in the funnel, right? And this is where I feel like a lot of people confuse content. And this is why I always say to my clients, don't just look at what anyone else is doing. Understand their funnel if you do look, right? This is why, for instance, I see lots of incredible people out there, but they're constantly selling low ticket. And it's like, yeah, their job of their content is to get people in low ticket, to get people into their high ticket. That's great. That's not what I do. I have a different strategy. I don't want to be selling low ticket all the time. I don't want to be running things all the time. That's not my vibe. I didn't want that. So I went all in on my strategy. So this is what you want to do is, 1, identify where are you converting people in your world. It's super, 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 super important. Number 2 is then our main job of your content is that they convert to go do that thing. So if it's a workshop, your content better be getting me to want to sign up. If it is being in your DMs, your content should make me want to go in your DMs. And maybe you're giving me something like a free resource or a YouTube or a podcast to get me in your DMs. Your job of your content is to get me to do the thing you want me to do next to buy from you, right? You are the realtor. You're saying, hey, Christy, let's go upstairs. Let's go look at that nice master bath you were so excited about. And I go, yeah, I am so excited about that, right? That is what your content is doing. So how do we do that? Again, every piece of content has a purpose. These are the main things you want to focus on in content. And by the way, I'm like an anti-content pillar person because I think it is so misleading because it should be personalized to you. The job of your content, if I want to take them to the next step in the journey, is number 1, I need to know why I even need that. Okay. So you can call this problem-aware content. You can call this pulling out what their problems are. If you have a workshop on how I can lose 50 pounds before summer, wow, that would be ambitious. Then I need to say the reasons you're not losing weight right now. The reason you're stuck in looking in the mirror and other women and wondering what they're doing to lose weight. You're calling me out at the problem. So your content's job is to call out their problem so that they know why they would even want to sign up. Number 1, that's a heavy part. Number 2, in your content, you want to reinforce, and this is why I'm so big about your brand story, your authority. I need to know, why do I want to listen to you? Why are you the person I listen to? Right? Tell me about you. Let me get to know you. What's your authority? What happened with your clients? So this is what I like to call in your authority. This is your client stories. This is your brand story. I need to be hearing your brand story regularly, which is actually something I teach you how to design. This is something that we really want, is your brand story is super strong. And so they're able to connect with you. So essentially, why would I sign up for your thing? Why would I DM you? Why would I even listen to you more? Because I really vibe with you and your story and who you are and your authority. That is really important. And then the other piece of content is you want to give tidbits, micro specific value for them on the topic you want them moving towards. Okay. I will tell you guys very honestly, this is something I did not understand. For so long, I heard value, right? Education content. I'd be like, I can educate. I can give value. And then I realized, oh, I didn't understand it in the sales mechanism. It's only give value on the thing you want them doing. So if I, for instance, have a sales course on storytelling, what is my content very specifically going to be about? Value on storytelling, value on sales and storytelling. I'm not going to give you like, here's retention strategies, here's offer design strategies. No, you're always giving micro specific content to the step you want them moving towards. And this is why when you do this properly, you literally do the selling for you. What you don't realize is that your content does so much selling for you. And this is why I like to incorporate stories into your content and knowing when to use them and how to use them. But your content is a machine in the sales process. And when you really understand your content machine, and every month or every quarter, it might have a different mechanism, right? If you're launching once a quarter, then we might have a content strategy for the launch, and then you just have a more maintenance strategy. And that's why really understanding your own marketing, your personalized system is so important. One of my clients actually started implementing this. She came to me because she wanted to create a scalable program before she was pregnant. And I was looking at her content and she had podcasts. Firstly, her podcast topics were all over the place. They were so random. And then she was always just posting her podcast and maybe a few posts on her feed. And I told her, hey, where are we driving them? She goes, my free series. I said, cool. So podcasts and your content, we're all driving to the free series, which means we're not talking about the free series on your content. We're talking about the problems. We're talking about solutions. We're talking about you and how you use what you teach in the free series in your content to get them to even be interested. And see, as a result, she filled what she wanted of her group program before having a baby, which is so remarkable and absolutely incredible. But more than anything, she's not like, oh, I need to go do something. And this is actually, this exact client had said, oh, should I go be on this platform? I'm on Pinterest now. I'm on this. And I said, honey, you need to be focused. You need to understand your strategy, your step, and also what you're doing at each point. And this is why I always say understanding your personalized business system is everything. Your content has a very specific job. Move them to the next step. And when done well, it's amazing. And that's why you don't need to go viral. You don't need to be on all these platforms. You just need to understand your actual mechanism, your thing, and it will literally change your business. And that's why I'm so passionate about women understanding their personalized strategy at every step along the way, because then you understand how to drive it. Be the driver, buy the house, look at the thing, let the realtor do the job, and then you decide. And that is the best thing. It's literally just like a house and a realtor. They're doing their job of showing you. And then as a buyer, you go, do I want this? Right? But they're walking you through a process. They're not just like, she didn't immediately walk me to the back room of the smallest house in the room. No, she walked me through the prettiest places first, what it is, what it look like, what would the vibe look like, right? That's a great job. That's what your content is doing. Take me to the next step. And that is why when you implement this in your process of content, it again is doing the selling for you. And we incorporate the stories, as I mentioned in the last video, so that you can incorporate the stories in your content mechanism. Apply this, let me know how it landed, and just know this gets to make your sales process a lot easier.